I'm Kevin Price with The Price of Business on Business Talk 1110 AM, KTEK in Houston, which is Bloomberg's home in Houston, Texas, and also with USDailyReview.com. I'm reporting from Chicago for the SHRM convention, the Human Resource Management Society, and it's a huge event, and delighted to get to meet some of the entrepreneurs and business owners that are here talking about what's happening and what they're doing for the various customers that are coming through. I got to spend some time with Dave Caswell, and he's with a company called Simply Paid. And Dave, before we get started, why don't you kind of give us your elevator speech?
The elevator speech. Simply Paid is a relatively new business in an industry that's been around since the mid-2000s. The core of our business and what we do exclusively is provide pay cards to the payroll industry. The conversion from paper checks for the majority of our customers to a pay card for the unbanked and underbanked is really our target market. The demographic that we serve is a kind of a mid to lower wage labor force. They tend to be unbanked for various reasons. One, they don't like the banks. Two, they have had problems with the banks. But government estimates that there's approximately 40% of that labor force that is unbanked. That's a lot of people when you look at how many is in the United States, just in the United States alone. So we're trying to serve that marketplace. And to give you an idea, when you look at, and you go to city, I do travel a lot, and you see all the check cashing places, just one on every corner, typically in the mid to lower income neighborhoods. And, you know, I've always wondered, how do these companies survive? How do they make money? And who do they serve? The people that we try to serve within these companies is that particular demographic, and we're able to do two things. We're able to take the conversion of the payroll from an employer from a paper check, which can average anywhere between $2 to $5 per check, and sometimes even more depending on if it's possibly union and if it's weekly or biweekly. Typically weekly, union tends to run a bit higher. It can go as high as $7 per check. So that, when you're looking at 500, 1,000, 2,000 employees, you're talking upwards of, in some cases, we've got one of our customers, 11,000 employees that we converted from paper checks to pay cards. It was about a $1.6 million savings.
So help me out. So pay card, is it similar to like a gift card?
Say it's yes in theory, except we serve it's a business-to-business proposition for us. We strictly serve businesses. You've got the GPR card, which is a general-purpose reloadable, the kinds you would see at Walmart and other retailers. And you've got the gift cards, which are basically on the same business model. Ours is strictly business-to-business between us and the payroll.
But will you pay these employees with these cards?
Yes, what we do is we will issue the cards to the either to the employers or directly to the payroll person at whichever company we're working with. And from there, it doesn't when they go and load their payroll, depending on who their processor is, it doesn't change anything. The only thing that changes is now when they set up their batch files to do their ACH transaction, to load, their direct deposit like what you and I probably have, because we've got, standard checking accounts. It's the same process. It just gets routed to a general fund within a one bank. So all the money on the pay cards that we provide go into a general fund. All the money pools in one place. So it's one big account with a lot of different account numbers and routing numbers that are assigned to each individual employee. So
the individual employee. So do you almost function like a bank for some of these employees? Kind of practically give me a scenario where, you're an employee to one of your clients, companies, and you don't have a checking account. Since Frank Dodd, this is now a growing phenomenon. It was a problem before. Now it's on steroids thanks to the Frank Dodd banking bill, which is an absolute, attack on lower income people's ability to get, banking ability. Tell me how it practically works for that employee who otherwise wouldn't have a banking account.
They would go through their employer, and it's set up exactly the same way that you, like I said, but it's set up exactly the same way through the payroll department of the company as you and I have, except we have individual accounts, whereas these accounts are set up as one large account that then has individual routing numbers and individual checking account numbers assigned to the cards, then are given out to the employee. the employees on their paydays, whenever they're paid, either biweekly or weekly. Once those batch files are loaded, they click enter. Those cards are loaded. Their payroll gets there typically early, and there's no paper checks involved. So they can then function. Now, here's the other thing. With SimplyPay, the cards are FDIC insured. Yeah, and they're Visa backed. So now they can go into...
So they have a Visa logo on it.
They have a Visa logo on them. So they can go into any store, any merchant that accepts Visa, and they can purchase whatever they want, however they want. It's their money. And, with certain demographics, some people tend to, because maybe of the country that they're from, their country of origin, they tend to carry a lot of cash. And they become targets, unfortunately. One of our goals is that we're able to help them become less of a target, because without the plastic they do have pins on them assigned to them, so the cards are secure. And if they lose the card, it's just like as if you or I lost a card. You call up SimplyPaid, you let them know that you lost the card, you're not responsible for the fees. One of the unique things that we did as more of a humanitarian approach is that we also offer a 5% checking account associated with the card. So employees have the ability to save and get 5% charity on their savings account up to $5,000. So we try to encourage savings. And people go, well, how do you make money? Well, first they ask, who pays for that 5%? SimplyPaid does. We pay that out of our revenue.
I'm assuming you largely get paid similar way to the primary revenue for payroll companies.
We don't charge the employer or the employee a dime. They spend nothing for this product. Where we make our money is through the ACH transaction fees from the merchant that are paid by the merchant. We have terms negotiated with Visa as a percentage of what we get back on the ACH transactions. Visa gets some, we get some. That's how we make money. The unique thing about SimplyPaid is this is what we do, and we do it very well. We don't have multiple products in the marketplace. We're not a payroll provider. We're not a human resources provider. We don't provide these other products. We strictly go after the pay card portion of the marketplace because the market space is right now is wide open. It's estimated through some of the trends that we've been looking at lately. We've got about a $25 to $30 billion marketplace in the next 3.5 to 4 years. So there's a lot of room for us to grow, and we're pretty excited about it.
So how old is your company?
Well, the company started out as a general purpose reloadable called Insight 5 years ago actually now. It transitioned into the Advantage card, and then they made a decision that they didn't want to become a hybrid, and then moved on to the GPR side, which is the SimplyPaid side, the Insight card side, and then SimplyPaid being the business-to-business pay card side. So we've got a very...
And when did that happen?
That's been 2 years. And so now we have a very clear distinction in between the two business models that we operate under.
It's been very successful. Dave Caswell has been our guest. He's with SimplyPaid. Is that SimplyPaid.com?
Correct.
Wow, it was great that you got that name. That sounds like a hard name to get. SimplyPaid.com. You can learn more about it. I tell you, in Houston, Texas, this would be a huge tool in Houston, Texas, with the largest population is Hispanic, and and that's a particular demographic that has a difficult time often operating in the banking world. And so I'm interested to see what kind of feedback we get from our audience about this. Do want to thank again our very good friends at BestWorkData.com. That's BestWorkData.com for providing this opportunity for me to interview Dave and to learn more about his company. BestWork Data does a phenomenal job to helping you discover your best employee and discover what's best for your employee. Learn more about them at BestWorkData.com. Thanks again, Dave. Great job.
Thank you.
All right. We want to remind you, check us out over there at PriceOfBusiness.com and USAToReview.com. Stay tuned for more.